General Hospital spoilers reveal that one of the new obsessions centers around the complicated relationship between Natalia and Marco. And Natalia's deep-seated fear that dark family secrets may soon be exposed. Every time her son looks at her with that cold, judgmental gaze, Natalia feels the walls she's built around her past slowly crumbling. Marco, filled with years of bitterness, isn't just angry about how Natalia has treated Blaze. He's haunted by the missing pieces in their family story, gaps he spent a lifetime trying to fill. Their mother-son dynamic isn't just a clash of personalities, it's a battle between truth and secrecy, between a sinful past and an attempt at redemption in the present. But as a new shift in behavior begins to emerge, Marco and Natalia surprisingly discover that their love for Blaze outweighs the resentment between them. This change starts with an unexpected moment at the Metro Court, where Marco accidentally sees Natalia in a vulnerable state, quietly watching an old performance video of Blaze on her phone. Silent tears rolling down her cheeks. That rare glimpse of his mother's emotional side forces Marco to reconsider the cold, calculating image he's always associated with her. At the same time, Natalia is undergoing a deep emotional shift following a heartfelt conversation with Lucy about the upcoming nurses' ball. Lucy's sincere plea to let Blaze shine touches a part of Natalia she thought had long been buried, her pride and unconditional love for her daughter. Natalia begins to realize that her fear of past secrets has made her a barrier to her children's happiness and success. This sets the stage for an explosive new development. Marco and Natalia, after years of confrontation, finally sit down for a real conversation in a quiet corner of Kelly's. There are no harsh accusations. Just two people trying to find common ground for someone they both love. Marco opens up about a recent phone call from Blaze, her homesickness and longing to return to Port Charles. Not only for the nurses' ball but also because of her growing relationship with Christina. For the first time in years, Natalia truly listens to her son without being defensive. Though fragile and cautious, this reconciliation paves the way for a potentially unforgettable moment at the 2025 nurses' ball. With renewed support from both her mother and brother, Blaze won't just return to the stage, she'll bring a new energy and confidence. Producers are secretly preparing a special performance. And rumors suggest Blaze will debut a new song about healing and rediscovery. But perhaps the most memorable moment won't be on stage. But when Blaze scans the crowd and sees something she's never seen before, Natalia and Marco sitting together, side by side, proudly watching her shine. However, despite signs of healing, Natalia's secrets still linger, threatening the peace that's only just been found. And with Sidwell arriving in Port Charles with hidden agendas of his own, the question remains. Is this family strong enough to face the past, or will those buried secrets ultimately destroy any hope for a fresh start? Sidwell is increasingly engaging in darker new activities. And the escalating chaos hints at new ominous turns. As his power in Port Charles grows, Sidwell begins expanding his influence into new areas, from manipulating the real estate market to bribing city officials. He no longer settles for controlling the city's underground. Now he wants to dominate its legitimate sectors too. One of Sidwell's boldest moves is quietly acquiring controlling shares of ELQ, the Couldn family's company, through a complex web of shell corporations. His campaign starts by targeting the city's power players. Sidwell knows that to truly control Port Charles, he needs to neutralize or take control of three key forces: the Couldn and their economic influence through ELQ, Sonny Corinthos' underground empire, and Jordan Ashford's city government. Sidwell tailors a unique strategy for each. For the Couldn, he uses Drew Kane as an unexpected pawn. Through Marco, who works at Alexis and Diane's law firm, Sidwell gains access to confidential documents about ELQ's ownership structure and financial weaknesses. He then manipulates the stock market, causing ELQ shares to plummet temporarily, creating the perfect opportunity to buy up shares at low prices, increasing his financial power and giving him major sway over the company's business decisions. To undermine Sonny's empire, Sidwell launches a covert campaign to seize control of key transport routes and business locations. He plants insiders within Sonny's organization, sparking internal conflict and weakening loyalty among members. Simultaneously, he forges ties with rival criminal groups, promising them help expanding into Port Charles if they assist in eliminating Sonny, a move that causes tension and unrest in the city's criminal world. Against the city government, Sidwell deploys more subtle tactics. With the help of Ezra and other bought-off council members, he pressures Jordan into approving real estate development plans beneficial to him. He also starts a sophisticated smear campaign against Jordan's policies, undermining public support and creating political instability. One of the new pressures comes from Natalia urging Marco to quit working for Sidwell. With a dark past connected to Sidwell, Natalia knows firsthand how dangerous he is. She tries to convince Marco to leave his position at the law firm representing Sidwell, though she can't reveal the real reason for her fear. Every time Marco talks about his new job, Natalia feels her heart clench with dread and guilt. Years ago, as an ambitious young singer, Natalia was unintentionally drawn into Sidwell's world. She witnessed, and may have even unknowingly participated in, his illegal activities. Their relationship ended badly, with Natalia fleeing, taking secrets that could destroy Sidwell if exposed. Now, with Sidwell back in Port Charles and Marco working for him, Natalia knows this is no coincidence. Sidwell is using Marco to get to her and the secrets she hides. In a desperate effort to protect her son, Natalia begins a subtle campaign to steer Marco away. She warns him of the legal and ethical risks of working for clients like Sidwell, citing her own experiences in the entertainment industry. She also begins introducing Marco to better job opportunities through her network. But Marco, stubborn and confident in his judgment, dismisses his mother's efforts, seeing them as another attempt to control his life, just like she tried to control Blaze's career. His rejection deepens the rift between them, pushing Natalia into desperation. She turns to an unexpected ally, Sonny Corinthos, for help. In a surprising twist, Natalia and Sonny form an alliance, recognizing their shared need to defeat Sidwell. With his extensive network and underground influence, Sonny begins applying pressure to Sidwell's business partners, while Natalia taps into her entertainment industry connections to uncover information about Sidwell's secret dealings. Their first meeting takes place at a small, secluded restaurant on the outskirts of Port Charles. Nervous and visibly shaken, Natalia opens up to Sonny about her past with Sidwell and the threats now facing her family. Though initially skeptical, Sonny is gradually convinced by her sincerity and fear, realizing Natalia could be both a valuable ally and a critical source of intelligence. Their alliance starts with information sharing. Natalia gives Sonny insider knowledge about Sidwell's operations and connections, while Sonny provides insight into Sidwell's underground network in Port Charles. Together, they build a comprehensive map of Sidwell's empire, identifying weaknesses to exploit. Armed with this intel, Sonny launches a strategic campaign to disrupt Sidwell's business. He pressures suppliers and partners, causing logistical breakdowns and halted deals. He also begins acquiring key properties Sidwell is targeting, blocking his expansion. Meanwhile, Natalia spearheads a PR campaign against Sidwell and the media, spreading stories of his unethical dealings and warning potential partners of the risks involved. As this covert war intensifies, Sidwell becomes increasingly desperate and dangerous. He threatens to expose Natalia's dark past if she continues interfering, and he escalates his attacks on Sonny's empire. Sidwell begins luring key members of Sonny's crew with bribes and power, sowing betrayal. He also uses his political clout to create legal and regulatory troubles for Sonny's legitimate businesses. Things get even more complicated when Marco starts suspecting his mother's ties to Sonny. He's puzzled by Natalia's sudden closeness to a notorious figure like Sonny, heightening his suspicions about what she's hiding. Marco starts tracking his mother's movements, discovering her secret meetings with Sonny. He begins connecting the dots between Sonny's actions and Natalia's behavior. Driven by curiosity, Marco digs deeper, even accessing confidential client files at the law firm to investigate Sidwell's past and potential ties to his mother. This act not only crosses ethical lines but also puts Marco in serious danger of being discovered by Sidwell, a man who would consider such betrayal unforgivable. Meanwhile, Blaze, unaware of the covert war brewing behind the scenes, prepares for her major performance at the nurses' ball. Blaze will stand by Christina's side to confront the troubling events unfolding. As all of Port Charles is swept up in a whirlwind of schemes and power struggles, Blaze makes a surprising decision, to place her feelings and loyalty toward Christina above everything else. Upon learning about the pressures Christina is facing from the Corinthos family and the threat from Ava Jerome, Blaze doesn't just offer distant support. She becomes Christina's steadfast protector. She begins accompanying Christina to tense family meetings, stands beside her in confrontations with Sonny, and even directly challenges Ava to defend Christina's honor. This decision not only deepens the bond between the two women but also forms a new alliance in the complex tapestry of Port Charles. One of the latest developments reveals a new obsession forming, as Blaze begins to realize that her loyalty to Christina is putting her in direct opposition to her father, Sidwell. Blaze's obsession isn't just about protecting the woman she loves, it's also about uncovering the truth about her own family. She starts digging into her parents' past, exploring the relationship between Natalia and Sidwell, and slowly uncovers dark secrets they've both kept hidden for years. Each new piece of the puzzle deepens Blaze's understanding of the complex motivations that shaped her chaotic childhood and fractured family dynamics. This obsession leads Blaze to a pivotal decision: she will no longer be a pawn in her parents' power game. A new shift emerges as Blaze decides to use her voice and influence to stand up against Sidwell. As a rising music star, Blaze holds a power that neither Natalia nor Sidwell anticipated: the ability to reach and influence the public. She begins writing new songs laced with messages about manipulation and abuse of power, messages clearly aimed at her father. She also starts using her social media platforms to speak out about the importance of transparency and accountability in business, indirectly calling out Sidwell's shady dealings. This move sparks a wave of support from her fans while also drawing attention from the media and investors to Sidwell's business operations. Sidwell finds himself truly isolated, and it becomes one of the latest shocks as he realizes that not only are business rivals like Sonny turning against him, but even his own daughter has now betrayed him. The isolation worsens when Marco, after learning the truth about Sidwell's past and his connection to Marco's mother, begins to distance himself as well. Marco refuses to continue working on cases tied to Sidwell and even starts feeding information to Diane and Alexis about his illegal activities. The biggest blow to Sidwell isn't from a business betrayal or a rival, it's from his own family, the very people he's tried to control and manipulate for years. This spirals into a new obsession for Sidwell. As he faces betrayal and isolation from all sides, he becomes increasingly fixated on revenge. He no longer cares about long-term plans to dominate Port Charles, he's focused solely on hurting everyone who turned against him. He begins orchestrating a series of retaliatory actions targeting Natalia, Blaze, Marco, Sonny, and anyone else who stands with them. This obsession makes Sidwell reckless and unpredictable, a dangerous combination that could lead to disaster for everyone involved. It becomes one of the latest shocks as Sidwell decides to carry out his most desperate and dangerous move yet: sabotaging the nurses' ball. Knowing how important this event is to Blaze and the entire Port Charles community, Sidwell begins planning an incident that could cause chaos and irreversible damage. He hires a group to create a disaster during the event, possibly a fire or a serious technical failure, aimed at not only ruining Blaze's performance but also inciting panic and potential harm to attendees. This shock isn't just about the cruelty of Sidwell's plan, it's about his willingness to harm his own daughter to get revenge. As the day of the nurses' ball draws near, tensions in Port Charles reach a fever pitch. Blaze, with support from Christina, Marco, and Natalia, prepares for a performance she hopes will mark not just a milestone in her career but a powerful statement of unity and strength in the face of adversity. Sonny and Jordan, aware of the potential threat from Sidwell, ramp up security for the event, ready for anything. As the lights go up and Blaze steps out in front of the crowd, no one can predict what will happen next. Will Sidwell's plan succeed, or will Blaze and her allies manage to prevent disaster? One thing is certain: after tonight, Port Charles will never be the same. Marco, Natalia, and Blaze are standing against Sidwell. This has sparked a full-blown internal war within the family, a tense and emotional confrontation with an unpredictable outcome. The unexpected unity among these three family members, who previously clashed constantly, has formed a powerful alliance against Sidwell. Marco, with his legal knowledge and access to confidential documents from the law firm, begins collecting evidence of Sidwell's illegal activities. Natalia, with her complex past and knowledge of Sidwell's secrets, becomes a valuable source of information. And Blaze, with her public influence and artistic voice, becomes the outspoken face of resistance against her father. This marks a dramatic new shift, and exposes the increasing danger of the situation. Feeling betrayed and cornered, Sidwell grows increasingly reckless and dangerous. He no longer maintains the image of a successful businessman and family patriarch. Instead, his true nature emerges, a manipulative, dangerous man willing to do anything to hold on to power. Sidwell begins using more extreme methods to threaten and control those around him. He hires thugs to intimidate Marco, trying to prevent him from revealing more information. He starts spreading damaging rumors about Natalia in the entertainment industry to destroy her credibility. With Blaze, he interferes with her music career, using his influence to sabotage her contracts and music releases. This growing oppression brings an escalating danger, as this family war spills beyond private walls and begins to impact all of Port Charles. In his desperate bid to maintain control, Sidwell begins using every resource and connection to pressure the allies of Marco, Natalia, and Blaze. He threatens Sonny's business partners, pressures Jordan through city council members under his influence, and even tries to disrupt the hospital, where many of the family's allies work. This new threat not only endangers the safety and careers of Marco, Natalia, and Blaze, but also threatens the stability of all of Port Charles. As the battle intensifies, the lines between family, business, and community blur. Everyone involved knows that the outcome of this confrontation will determine not only the fate of their family, but the future of the entire town. And with the nurse's ball looming, the very stage Sidwell has chosen for his final strike, the tension in the city is at its peak. Everyone knows that after that night, nothing will ever be the same again.